Well, hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Lindsey Hollin. I'm your host for your Farm and Ranch Friday. Very excited to talk about a hot topic. I'm sure if you've been in the real estate world or just watching the tech world in general, all the AI technology, GPT chat. I apologize. My puppies are being a little unruly. Sorry about that, James. I know you have your little
Mhm.
mischief monkey with you too. But getting back to it, ChatGPT, AI technology, obviously social media, and how all these things work hand in hand. As a founder of obviously a major farm and ranch group, you also have quite the platform on Instagram and social media. Can you give our listeners a little background on who you are and how you ended up as this Instagram icon for farm and ranch?
So, yeah, like everybody else, I started doing videos in 2016, and I'm gonna go through a instead of doing like a lot of these social media, trainers or whatever. I'm gonna go through some of the videos I used to do versus what I do now, to give some perspective of what I used to do versus now, because it's really cool to see the involvement, I guess you would say, or the life cycle of what at least what I've done. But I've always seen a opportunity on videos, because we all know in real estate the biggest problem is trying to get leads, is trying to get exposure, and in my opinion, social media is the best place to do it. And no matter who you are in real estate or in any business, the thing that sells you more than anything else is your personality, and we're going to go through some of that. But we started. I got my license in 2016. I have a background in corporate America and some marketing. Before that, what I been all over the country: Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, New Mexico, Arizona, Florida, doing working for the U.S. government, and been in ranching all my life. And I had a chance to find some unique perspective on how our country is and stuff like that. And it's really driven me to build some of the content we have, and that's helped me catapult to some of the biggest platforms in the nation, in my opinion, on farm and ranch stuff. And then on top of that, the biggest thing also that people miss is the discipline you have to become something that you want to. If you have that vision, you can become it. But the discipline is the key, and we're going to go through some of that. So what I'm going to do is go through this agenda, and I'm going to show you guys my platforms, not because I'm trying to show you um, the followers I have and stuff, but at least when I was starting out, I wanted to see what was in the background of some of this stuff, and to give you some perspective of what we do on our side. And I'm going to go through each platform, show you what we have, how many followers we have, but some of the stuff like YouTube, what is happening on the background right now as we speak, to give you an idea of some of the stuff. So first thing, business 20. We've been in business since 2016. With our platforms, we are now a worldwide referral network. We have buyers coming in from all around the world, from Africa, from other countries. We look at nationwide. Obviously, I have a license in Texas, but we have referral agents across the nation and the world. And our platform basically extrapolates out and goes out to the world as of right now as we speak. We've produced over 1,000 videos, and last year alone I did 700, and I'm going to go through some of that. We have over 550,000 followers. We've done over 200 million views in a year and a half related to our platforms. And I always look at myself going, okay, that's pretty crazy that someone's seen my ugly face for 200 million times. Or
Oh, come on. It's not that bad.
and
Uh,
and then also branding. EXP. The reason why I moved to EXP, and the reason why I did not move to a farm and ranch company, and I keep on telling this people, your branding is everything. Make sure you're unique. Make sure you have your brand, And you know, the AXP allows you to do that. That's going to differentiate you from other realtors. So anyway, so and Lindsay, if you have any questions or any input, let me know. But
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you a few things. One, how did you come up with your brand, the logo that you have? Can you talk a little bit about that?
You know, when I changed brands, I was Maverick for a while, and I honestly, I go to Upwork and look at some of these branding people that are on Upwork. We started with that. I did that for probably 4 years, and then in January we started our new website, and I felt that it was time to rebrand. And since we were not just Texas, but you know, expanding out farther out, and I found a really good guy, and I will share him with you guys. But over in the United Kingdom, that does all my branding, and we went through about 90 to 100 logos with different psychology, and I'm going to go through the psychology part of marketing too, about our branding. And you know, we had a panel, and we came up with this. But you know, we wanted unique, bold. That's just, you know, I think that's sort of like my personality. So I wanted something logo that was sort of fitting my personality. You know, and the thing is like when you're in social media, it's really important that you have that branding, because that's going to differentiate you also. And we saw that, or at least I saw that, related to me rebranding everything when it was time to do it, before we went to the next step of doing our websites and stuff like that.
Be a unicorn.
Exactly.
You know, I think, you know, we were raised, and I'm not going to date how old you are, but I feel like I was raised where, you know, my parents had the same job for 40 years, and you followed suit. You know, you looked a certain way, your business cards looked a certain way, you know, everything was clean and cut. And now it's kind of like, okay, we all look the same. So this world came about where we could, you know, be entrepreneurs and had to survive. Those jobs, like you had said, you know, the EXP platform, the job of, you know, that cookie cutter 40 years is not there anymore. So you have to invent your own business. You have to be an entrepreneur, and having that platform to where you can shine and have your brand shine as well. I'm really glad you brought that out, because so many people just follow the cookie cutter real estate, you know, branding, and the world has changed. I mean, every day it seems like social media changes a rule, changes an algorithm. And so it's one, how do you stay on top of that? And two, if you're not in social media, um, you know, where are you? I don't know how you can have a brand these days and not be on some social platform, even if it's just one.
And it's going to get more and more. You see it in the industry right now. No matter what company you look at, this, you know, God forbid, let's talk about Bud Light, you know, or Budweiser, you know, with the situation that's going on right now. I'm not trying to pick on them, but at the same time, they are hiring content creators across the nation for large multi-billion-dollar companies. They see now marketing can work both ways. You know, social media can work both ways, bad and good. And you know, the thing that really tells you, you know, when these companies do this, is they're taking a big risk if they don't do the appropriate amount of research with these content creators when they do marketing with them. But they do realize that there is a huge amount of play and amount of exposure for some of these content creators out there. You know, and I'll give you an example. This is my old business card here. And you say, and I've always been that type of person to say unique. So there's, you know, my Maverick right there, and this is my KW Heritage one, but this is what I have in the back. Clint Eastwood with the gun, back to your roots, with the flag, and I don't
love it.
But you know, the thing is like I would pass that out, and that was something that people would be like, oh, this is different, you know. And you're exactly right. With real estate, realtors as a whole stay with the cookie cutter. I imagine, you know, all the, you know, most realtors, and this is not picking on them, but I imagine them as a cookie cutter neighborhood. You know, you see the neighborhood that's the same type of the thing, and you know, it's worked for me. I'm just 180 from that. I stay, you know, with when it comes to marketing, I'm 180 from what the norm is on purpose.
I agree. And I think that trend really follows farm and ranch brokers and agents, because we sell something so unique. We have to stand out to differentiate ourselves from
Right.
residential real estate agents or commercial real estate agents.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I'm the same way. I am obsessed with the craziness. I have a really creative logo. I have a really creative name for my team and my brokerage group as well. So I love what you do, and I think it's amazing that you have so many followers that are watching these videos, and your consistency, like you said, the fact that you are powering out these educational pieces. It's not just about, hey, I'm selling this over here. You actually inform. I actually watched one. Was talking about oak wilt. It was amazing.
Thank you.
And really, I knew we had a lot of oak wilt in our counties, but where it came from, what's the status? Giving back to our farm and ranch communities as well. So I'm super impressed, and thank you so much before this even starts for sharing your nuggets of knowledge, because it's nice to see behind the curtain. Farm and ranch, whether you're a buyer or seller, or you're an agent in this field, we are kind of behind the curve, because just by nature, we're country folk, we're slow moving, and this wave of technology, man, is knocking us down. So man, don't let me stop you. Keep on going.
Well, the last stat I have with the whole farm and ranch thing is, I think you would agree with me, is that the percentage might be different for you, but 90% of the buyers that I have that are buying land are all new ranch owners or landowners, and that's where I am coming in and trying to educate them as much as possible before they buy a property or whatever, and make sure that they have a chance to not get, excuse my French, screwed by the county appraisal district or other facets, because they don't know better, and that they are all, most of them, 90%, 100, 99% of them are on social media. I first, when I'll show you TikTok in a bit, but when I first started TikTok, people would tell me all the time, people just dance on there. You're not going to get anything out of that. Why are you doing that? They were wrong. So, so let's go to YouTube first real quick. And I'm going to go through this, and this is behind the scenes. I don't usually show this, but I'll show it. Again, people, when you're looking at this stuff, you're not in competition with anybody besides yourself. That's what I truly believe. So this, we have 26,000 followers here, 15.9 million views in the past, for the lifetime of the channel, 1.05 million views for this month. And what I call pumping, I used to do crypto here, so just bear with me here. I'm going to go to my YouTube studios. We had this was a video that we published right here. This history video here. We published that 2 or 3 days ago, and already got 800,000 views on that video. Now, this is we publish probably every day about 2 to 3 videos on our platforms, and I'm going to go through how to do that. But I'm just giving you some examples right now. Instagram, we have 44,000, almost 55 or 45,000 followers now, and we publish not only our videos, you'll see the same video format that we have on all of our platforms, but we also publish pictures, and this one right here is where we go ahead and just do a slideshow of the pictures, and some we use unique music. We don't use the elevator music that most people use. And that one alone right here got 17,000 views in 3 days. And we're nonstop, consistently throwing up our content, and I'll explain how we do that. With Facebook, little update here. 43,000 views. We publish reels, and then also on our business page, or 45,000 followers. We publish on Reels. Reels is a really, really good platform to publish on. And then also we publish on our Facebook page too. But Reels, if you're not doing Reels, you need to be doing it. TikTok. 414,000 followers. We're almost to 9 million likes. We do a ton of volume on this, obviously. But if you see this, what we're doing here is not only taking our content and publishing on one, but we're republishing on every major social media platform out there. And the reason why we're doing that is a couple of things. Number one, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. And number two, what you want to do is when you publish a video, no matter if it's a property or whatever it is, you want to republish it on other platforms so it becomes a video times 7.
So can I ask you a
Yeah,
question
go ahead.
about TikTok? So the controversy about TikTok and China. The type of person I am, based on that information, I'm not on TikTok. Now, am I on every other platform? Absolutely. Um, so those that are hesitant about TikTok, especially since this isn't a secret, people are talking about this left and right. It's in the news. So, like, what do you say to that? Like, is this a thing? Is this something we should be worried about? Like,
No.
what have you heard?
So I'm not trying to get in politics or anything like this, but TikTok, if I was going to go look for news, let's say for something that's going on in Ukraine or anything in the world, I will go to TikTok first. And the reason why is because I see the most unbiased videos on TikTok from both sides of the spectrum than anywhere else. And if someone's worried about China having your information, we all know Twitter, we all know Facebook, and every other platform has your information. Now, and I have nothing to hide. I am who I am. But I don't dance, obviously. I don't sit there, but I think the politicians, in my opinion, are various and the other platforms are getting, excuse my French, their asses kicked by TikTok to a point where they're lobbying to get rid of TikTok. That's my personal opinion.
I like that. I like that. Interesting theory there.
I
I'm hearing more and more because I'm to the point now where, like, am I missing something? I mean, I've heard a lot of rumors that Donald Trump actually owns TikTok, and there's all these things. So I wanted to get your side of the story since you are very heavy on the TikTok side. It's very successful for you.
Yeah, I've never had anybody reach out and be like, "Hey, I have your information," and I've been on TikTok for 2.5 years now, and never had, knock on wood, any issues. I've had more issues with personal messages on Instagram and Facebook than anything else. The other thing too is if you look at the platform, we do probably 20% real estate, 25% of history of farmer, not farmer ranch, not only, history of ranches in the United States, and also history of the background of Native Americans and all that. I used to, work in this how would you say, industry related to archaeological stuff and all that, and not getting into that. But I've had a lot of stuff that's unique. And so what I do is I push it in there. Conservation on all the animals we're talking about across the United States, invasive species, anything that still stays with your niche, so to speak, but you can broaden out. Because I can tell you right now, if you're just doing real estate, people are not going to watch your stuff. You have to broaden out, but stay in your niche.
Yeah, providing them, a parallel a story, or like you said, most people that have ranches love to go arrowhead hunting.
Yep.
The trees are super important. That's what I'd like, it caught my eye, your story about oak wilt, because that's constantly evolving, and my finger really hasn't been on the pulse with that. We're dealing with cedar trees over here, so in the hill country, so but it was neat to see where do they stand right now, because like, just like social media, you can turn your back on the ocean and it's like it's already on you, knocking you down. So and I did see the one, and I thought this was very clever, doing the history on the actual ranch that's in the show Yellowstone.
Yep. Yeah, and that one got like 4 million views. Just crazy.
That is a good point, because I do feel like everybody gets so wrapped up and getting listings, getting buyers, and constantly saying for sale, for sale, for sale. It's almost like commission breath. It's like, okay, you sell stuff, but how is when somebody says, hey, I'm going to sell a ranch, that you automatically think James, you automatically think Lindsey's a cool chick. She's teaching classes. She has 2 hunting dogs. I try to do that with mine, but your level of video is just out of my comfort zone. So,
So let's go over there real quick. Let's go to the video comfort zone side. So let's say this is one of my listings here. Okay, so it's quick. I'm not going to go over the thing. Okay, so you get the point, right? Is that too short, or you want to play it a little more?
no, it's fine. I actually couldn't hear it.
Okay, so you'll try it again. I don't know what. Can you hear it or no?
Yes.
Property also has 4 tractor sheds, 1 barn, 3 water wells, and 3 ponds that are stocked with fish, a climate-controlled workshop that conveys all tools, another home site with full utilities ready to go for build, 2 separate cattle pens, 4 stalls, and it comes with 50 head of cattle, 7 different worked pastures, comes with a D4H cat bulldozer, new engine, a John Deere 4430 with all the implements, multiple horses. It's almost done. UTVs, everything is being transferred over, and much more. Would you take it for $2.5 million? Okay, so you saw that video, right?
Yeah.
Here's my first video.
Where's your ring light, James?
Now, this was in 2018.
Who's that young kid? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I played on purpose because my whole point of this was, is showing you like I wanted to see when I was taking social media programs or whatever, is these people talk about this all the time, but until you see it, it's mind-blowing, because the only way you're going to get better at doing something is going and actually doing it. And it's a craft. I can tell you, I've done 1,000 videos. I've put literally thousands of hours into this, and I am still learning more and more. But the only way you learn is through doing it. And being shy, no offense or anything, is not an excuse. Because
I agree. You can't hustle down buyers and sellers if you're shy. It just doesn't work that way. So, I think too, it's not that you're shy. It's the unknown. Like, what platform do I use? How do I film a video? How long should it be? How short should it be? What should my content be? So I love the fact that you broke down really, here's content, because some people will say, I sold everything, or we're in a listing shortage. So it's like, what do I talk about now? And the fact that you literally said, listen, anything that works in our market of farm and ranching, history, conservation. I mean, you have it listed there, the Western industry. I mean, that's huge right now, like you said, with these shows and the Yellowstone and all of that. This is simple. Anybody can talk about this.
Yeah. So the thing is like, you can talk about trucks. I've even put stuff about repairing my UTV on my videos. I mean, it's just anything that's related to something that you do, and what makes you unique is what it's not about trying to stay, although like you said, like with the listings and stuff, it's more about your personality. It's the thing that makes us unique between all of us is our personality, and you have to use your personality. One thing that people tell me all the time is they meet me in person and they're like, oh, cool, you're the same way on in person than you are in video. Exactly. I am not the different person, because they know and they feel it when I'm on video that I am the same person. I am just honest and a decent dude,
Shoot them straight, as I say.
Exactly. So you hit the nail on the head. So let's talk about real quick. And if I'm going through this too fast, we went through my content, Western industry, we talked about consistency, uniqueness. That's huge. Shorts versus long form. Do you know what that is? Shorts versus long form.
Well, like short videos versus long videos, reels versus.
So
tell me. I haven't pretend I know nothing. I don't.
Okay, it's okay. We're going to go through it.
I'm just here to grab your nuggets of knowledge. I mean, really, that's what it is. And then I know all my team and at least the half of us on EXP are like, listen, resident. I don't care if you're residential, farmer, ranch, commercial, where you're selling. I mean, this philosophy works for any of your markets.
Yeah. Hold on a second. So a horizontal film is what YouTube is typically what they publish. Is that the TV format that you see as a widescreen TV when you look at a video. And long format is 15-20 minute video about something. And what's happened in the past 3 or 4 years is shorts or short format has happened, where you're talking about a video that is up to 60 seconds and it's vertical. See how it's vertical versus horizontal. So number one, when you're out there doing videos and have a photographer, make sure you are tailing that photographer to do vertical format and then horizontal format photos and videos. Because if you just do horizontal, it's going to look like, excuse my French, crap on your Instagram and your short or vertical format platforms. Your vertical format platforms are TikTok, Reels on Facebook is going to be vertical. Instagram can be horizontal and vertical, but vertical I think it looks a little better. And then for YouTube, they have shorts, which is a vertical format versus the regular format of horizontal. And the beauty of shorts is that you can produce a video real quick. Like I did one a year and a half ago, and I was sitting there in my well house working on my well. And I was like, this might be cool to share. So I shared it. And it took me a whole 15 minutes to do it, if that. And people liked it, and they're like, well, what about this? And what about that? But the beauty of shorts is that you can do it on your phone without production. That's one thing that stopped me from doing horizontal. I don't have time for a production. And now it's a little different because I do a lot of production because of the stuff that we do, but you still can do videos real quick every single day without having much time invested in it.
And do you have this written out? I know you have a little presentation, but do you have like the vertical versus horizontal?
Yeah, I do. It's right here.
You were a little quick on that, quick on the draw, and I was like, hold on, I need to write this down. Also, would you mind sharing this presentation with us?
I can share. Yeah, I can share some of the stuff with you guys for sure. Short versus long format, right there at top. You can see the majority of our, at least our videos, 99% of them are short. And as you see, vertical versus horizontal video, 90% of our videos are vertical format, and 87% mobile users prefer vertical versus horizontal format. And the reason why is because most people are looking at their on their phones vertically when they see videos on social media. They're not looking horizontal when they sit down and look at YouTube. When they're doing horizontal, they're expecting to stay there for 15-20 minutes just to look at something. And 79% of all social media is viewed on mobile devices. All right, so that's that piece. You got any questions on that?
Actually, no, you answered my question, because I really never thought about. I know it was a thing, but I didn't know, which platforms it was better in. I've been getting more into the reels, like you said, those short stories. But just understanding, because I see these people with this big production, or, they have their phone, they have a camera, they have a whole system. And so knowing the difference, like you said, the background, and just teaching those little tricks. No, you answered my question. Thank you so much for sharing that with all of us, because I was like, I can't write that down fast enough.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, I'll be out in Edwards County this weekend, and I go through my head. I'm like, okay, so I'm
sorry.
It's going to be hot. I have to go through 300 acres and walk it because there's no UTV trails. I'm going to be bitching, excuse my French, but all the way down there, because
you're walking 300 acres. For those that don't know, Google Rock Springs. It is nothing but rocks. It's a great hunting area, and it's like, you can be out there hunt. The biggest joke, I think, the one memorable thing I remember, client said, he goes, you hunt in Rock Springs, you don't know if you're going to see a deer or a T-Rex. I mean, anything can walk out in that county. There's so many free-ranging animals and exotics. It'll blow your mind. But it is rough country. So I don't envy you at all. being a broker, I can delegate my Rock Springs listings out to you, James.
Yeah,
So
well, I appreciate
thank you for taking one for the team.
that. Before we go on the unselfish and selfish content, U.S. adults spend 145 minutes daily on social media. I think that's low, personally. And then on top of that, B2B inquiries, which is business to business inquiry, 50% of all business to business inquiries, when you look at all of the United States, is done on mobile phones. If you're not doing it, you're missing probably the majority of the stuff that's going on. I'm just saying. Also, so unselfish versus selfish content. So this comes with the content related to social media. If you look at any of my stuff, I do not talk about me, or anything related to my background or anything like that. No one cares. They don't care about how, and this is no offense to anybody, but they don't care about what you closed, how much your volume is, what title company you closed at. That is all saturated content. They don't care. You have to look at the perspective of a user, and they're looking at your content. They want to get something out of it. And so policy for me is never to talk about what I've done in the past. It's always about what I'm doing in the future, related to education, or hey, this is a listing and this is awesome type of thing. But you have to really think about, when you're producing content, is it a selfish content about me, or is it unselfish?
Oh, I love that. And I get on to people all the time, like, listen, we have a place for our vendors, our title companies and things like that, but it's the whole, the word, the phrase commission breath I use. It just comes to a point where it's like,
Yeah.
it's almost, your end user, in my mind, shuts you down. They're like, it's just another video about what they sold, but you're this whole giving back of information and knowledge and an actual interaction. That's really cool. And I'll tell you, I think too, the reason why some real estate agents get into a rut like that is because that's all they know. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what used to be the way we advertise, was every, the old newspaper ads. It was all about what you had for sale and what sold. So, this new concept of actually being a content creator on this, it's really, that's that whole out of comfort zone, really thinking what would be the listener, putting yourself in their shoes. And I think sometimes we're just back over here doing our job. We forget about, who am I talking to? I'm not talking to another real estate agent. I'm trying to talk to another buyer or seller.
Yeah, and on top of that, with it's never good to do that. But right now, with the economy, think about your audience. Do you really think someone wants to hear about you've closed a $1 million property, and they sit there and go, "Wow, what kind of commission did that guy get, and does he deserve it?" Type of thing.
I
That's
know.
opening a can of worms. And I've honestly, I get tons and tons of calls and messages and emails. We have a really good lead generation platform. 99.9% of the people that talk to me don't ever talk to me about what I've closed. They don't care. And when I get a call, they're like, "Oh, I know James. I don't know you, but I know James." And it's like a warm call all the time. It's never a cold call.
My one pet peeve, especially when the market was high, when agents would brag about how they sold it so many thousands of dollars over asking price. And I'm like, I wonder what the buyer thinks about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I know a lot of even people in our farm and ranch industry would say that. And I'm like, are you guys, like, I feel like that we're making the buyer feel like you overpaid. And I just didn't understand that type of advertising. That braggadocious, or, you and I, some of the clients we use, their properties aren't on the market. They're very private. They don't even put their name on the contract. They have a aura signs situation, so to speak. So I just always thought that if I was somebody, especially in our industry, we're talking about millions and millions of dollars, and sometimes celebrities and billionaires, it just didn't look right to me. So I love that you put that up about the selfishness. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
But some videos did rub me the wrong way, because I felt like, what does the end user on the other side feel about that?
And you always have to think about that before you publish. And the other thing too, let me note is our average cost per view on our social media is just my time. I don't do any type of PPC. I don't need to do any type of advertising on my platforms right now as we speak. This is all raw data or raw, how would I say, raw views. It's all organic views, organic. So just FYI. So the other thing too is that one thing that I did, and I'm just being fully transparent here, is I took many social media classes in other industries. And the reason why I did that is because there is a psychology to social media. When you're on social media, and I'm just getting my phone here, and you're doing a video like this, and your head's pointing down this way, the psychology is you have a authority over someone. If you go up here like this and do it over here, they're looking above you. Well, they have authority of you. And if you look at eye level, you're having a conversation with them. I see a lot of people out there doing that, and you're just talking about psychology, colors. If you wear a red shirt in a video, now I can get away with it a little bit more because I've been doing it for a little bit, but colors are always something where it brings up psychology with people. And then hooks. I believe it or not, you can do hooks. Like with your videos, you have to be crafty related to what you say. This takes time, but it takes time to basically take your craft and make it more and more, how would you say, perfected. It's never going to be perfect, but at the same time, you have to think about the psychology piece when you do videos too. But my number one thing, though, is like I said, is I start doing videos. You'll learn through this as you go, but everything has something that will make your video successful or not.
No, I want you. Can you dive into? I'm like looking at what I'm wearing. I'm like, did I wear the right color today? So, obviously I've upgraded the trailer. Yeah, I know that sounds terrible, but no, I love it. The whole nomad on the road life is exciting to me.
That's
and
awesome.
I can't wait to do it. But so, just getting with the colors, like my backdrop. I mean, this is typically where I sit to do my podcast and to do videos. So I have all my creative friends. I'm not a creative lady or I'm not into decor, but I'm like, hey, what kind of wallpaper do we need to put back here? My hair is brown. It's brown background. So it's so funny we're talking about colors, because I was like, I feel terrible. I was like, what color do I need to be wearing or doing? Can you give us some little nuggets on colors?
So the perfect example is, number one, is when you're doing background like me, it's not too busy. It's a little busy, but I didn't want to change anything in my office. I just, whatever. But one thing that you'll see on these videos is like someone doing content, and then they have their laundry in the back, and they have, the just stuff. And people, you'll notice in the comments, people will go and look at the what's in the background. And by the way, another way to do hooks and colors and techniques is do it on purpose. I do a lot of stuff on purpose because I am witty. I am funny on purpose. I do stuff in the background on purpose to throw people off and to mess with them. And it does. I mean, like one time I was doing a serious video, and then I put Sasquatch in like a part of my video. So when people start looking, I will go ahead and they'll be like, what the heck is he doing? Why is he doing that? And then people will start talking. Or I did my jackalope video, which is very serious, by the way, but I did something on my map.
I did see that. I was like, what is he doing? What a nut. That's a good point, because you're breaking up,
Exactly.
the seriousness, or you're showing people, like you said, you have a personality. One of the books, some of the books that I used to read, one of my favorite ones is The Little Red Book of Selling. I've been a salesman since I was a Girl Scout. Real estate was very difficult for me because the mindset of selling was totally different than the life I had doing sales. And so I brought those techniques back. But The Little Red Book of Selling, I'd highly recommend it. And one of its key points is, if you're not funny, people aren't going to listen to you. Like, know how to tell a joke, like get people to laugh, because you've just brought them in on a personal level.
Exactly. Yeah. And so to go back to the nuggets of colors, it's like, Let's talk about the stop sign or the traffic sign rules. Green is
Matthew
go.
McConaughey.
Yeah, green is green. That means go. It's pleasurable. Red is no. Yellow is like cautious, And you can apply that to social media all day long. It's like when we do our branding colors, the same thing. All that is psychology. We sit there and talk about, okay, what's giving us warmth versus not. The lighting of your videos, all that stuff is, and you made the comment right away. When in my first video, the lighting was horrible, the audio was horrible, but all that goes into what you do on your videos. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go and get all this equipment and stuff. But when you're doing a phone and you're looking in the phone doing your video, turn around to see what's the best lighting with the sun. Don't be in the shadow. Make sure you have a great background with something what you're doing, not too busy, and that will make you successful right off the bat when you just be observant of what you're doing with your videos. I hope that helped.
Great tips. It did help. And it's making me think, like, I was like, I really need to put something up here. But like I said, maybe my next podcast I will have, the new wallpaper, a photo or something. So,
and this is one of our I would say one of our presentations that we give to some of our affiliates. We have affiliate marketing with vendors and stuff like that. But one thing that I always tell people all the time is always professional. A lot of people, before they go on social media, are afraid of the comments, the haters. No matter how much research you do on a subject, no matter how much you make that video perfect, someone's going to hate you because there's a lot of people that are just miserable out there. I had 200,000 comments last year alone on all my videos. And I would say about 10% of those were comments that were just hateful, right? And one thing I try to do is I always reply back in a very nice manner. I never get into it. And sometimes those comments do have validity, meaning that they might be rude, but if you look into the baseline of it, like one guy said, you have, beep, 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 horrible audio. Well, he probably has a point, but he doesn't have to be so rude about it. But there's some other people that just don't, they just don't care. They say that, like for instance, like I was sick for 2 weeks and my community knows me so well. They know when I'm sick. They know, I'm like, what the heck? This is sort of creepy, but they know, when I'm doing videos and stuff. But don't be afraid of the haters because there's always going to be a hater out there. And you're never going to change that. No matter how many views and how many followers you have, it's always going to be out there.
So don't be scared.
No, don't be scared. All right. Let's go back over here real quick. So I talked about psychology of videos. All right, how we do social media is production of distribution, consistency of branding. One thing about my platforms, if you look at all the platforms, every one of my platforms has the same branding, same name. One thing I would say right at the bat is be unique with your name. I've seen a lot of people, and this is no offense to anybody, use landlady, landman. That doesn't make you unique. And, you need to be unique with what your personality is. Don't follow the norm with real estate. Be different. So this basically shows like let me put this up here. This is my website here. And, this is the hub of where all my social media links go to. So basically what happens is when someone clicks on one of our profiles, it goes all to my website. That's very important because when you start your social media platforms, you got to think about your infrastructure in place if you want to do this for real. And this is one thing I did not do, and I would have kicked myself in the butt over and over again until I got it right. But it's very important that you have a way to bring all your stuff into your website via, what we use AI. I'm going to show you what we use, and house that traffic up so you can convert your leads better, you can get leads, you can process better, and so forth. Because in your business, you're going to find out real quick, especially if you get a video that goes somewhat viral or whatever, that you're going to have a lot of weak links. And it's good to have this thought process before you go into it. What we do is we use repurpose.io, and this is a AI function platform. And what this basically does is that if I do a video on Instagram or if I do a video on TikTok, when I publish that video, and I'm sitting here with my phone, right here, and I'm sitting there doing a video, and it takes me 15 minutes to do, and I publish it on TikTok, it'll automatically feed into all the other platforms automatically. Now, there's some caveats to that, but I don't want to get into it right now. Like every platform has a little different setup and so forth. But for the most part, you have platforms out there that has AI, artificial intelligence, to recognize when you publish something, it repurposes all your social media into other platforms. And that is important more than as much as doing a video. And the reason why is because if you're just on one platform, you're putting all your eggs in one basket, you're already missing out on everything else. Got any questions?
No, I have a list going, but keep going.
Okay.
I don't want to get off track. I feel like you literally could, jump down a rabbit hole with some of this.
Oh yeah, I can. It's something that and I have, so each one of these platforms, they publishes on there, and then we have set up so that this is very, very efficient, as less timely as possible related to putting labor into this. But these platforms will help you republish all your or repurpose all of your social media.
So which one do you recommend? Because right now I use like Buffer. Buffer's one that I like using. Which one do you use? I'm really not familiar with any other. I've got Buffer, Hootsuite. Is that kind of when you were talking about that repurpose?
Yeah, repurpose. But Hootsuite is very expensive from what I understand, and I use repurpose.io because it's off the top of my head $50 a month. And it basically it will automatically drop your videos into a Dropbox and Google. It'll automatically put it on other platforms. And so I use this one as of right now.
No, thank you. That's some great insight. Like I said, I've been using Buffer because it's affordable as well, and it's easy, for my social media girls and the people, and even me posting. If I have something off the cuff, I can just hit my app Buffer and drop it to everything and share it now or share it later.
Yeah. So the other thing that people always wonder about is content. How do I do content? Well, I have a different way to do this, but the easiest way to do this is this. Since we're talking about AI, is it going to change? No, you're not seeing this. Hold on. Okay. Let me unshare this. That's why you. Let's see here. Okay, here you go. You see it? That's repurpose.io.
Awesome. That's really cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I know my social media girl, she's been researching a handful because she knew about Hootsuite. I already had Buffer. And just like I like it too because it's keeping all of that simple, because truly if it's not simple and it's not consistent, you're not going to do it. So
Nope.
Knowing the other technologies that go hand in hand with the social media and with the production.
Yeah. So here's Bard, the new Google AI here. That's upcoming. It's in what they call beta right now, what I have access to, which is nice. And we have ChatGPT here, which we're going to play with real quick. And
yeah, definitely would like you to get into that because that's the new rage. And I'll tell you, I know a lot of agents are using it, but just for me, it's out of my comfort zone. I tried playing with it a little bit. I was a little confused on how to enter the data to get kind of the style of farm and ranch description I wanted. And I've had some other agents on our team that were like, hey, you have to put it in like this. So just kind of the tips and tricks. And I mean, even the background for those who don't know what ChatGPT is. Can you explain what this is? There are people that are like, what the hell are they talking about?
the ChatGPT is artificial intelligence that has access to all the World Wide Web. And we're going to go through some. I'm just putting this up. Hold on one second.
Do I need to hide your password?
No, you're fine. It just didn't. I have so many profiles. That's what's. So we're gonna play with ChatGPT real quick here. Okay, so ChatGPT. I've been reading up. I've been reading a lot about this, and it's like you said, the new rage. Construction companies are using ChatGPT to make plans for their buildings now. You can ask it anything you want, and it's going to give you an answer to that. Like I use it for a lot for content, for history, for let's say, okay, let's just do this. What to hold on a second. Right? See it? How to buy a ranch? It's very easy to use. You're seeing this, correct?
Yeah, we're all seeing it. That's super freaking cool. Oh my gosh.
That's going to keep on going.
So what about if you need parameters? That's the part that confused me. So I really wanted to dive into it as far as property descriptions, because obviously when you have an insane premier ranch with a lot of, different improvements and attributes and topography, how, that part, the deep dive into that, like where do you put the parameters as far as, I think I'm not really good at entering, it's one thing to enter a question. It's another thing to try to get, a property description. Do you have an example of that?
Oh yeah. Just hold on a second. Let me find all right, well, I'm gonna stop screen here. I'm gonna show you this. Hold on. And this is something that's a great question.
That's why I'm the host. There I am with my little humor. I'm picking up the points right now, James.
Okay, so see this? This 239 acre property, and I have it in bullet points. This is the easiest way to do something. I don't want to be sitting there like writing up a paragraph about this wonderful ranch I have over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it. So this is pretty easy, right, Lindsey? Writing out 3 water wells.
Yeah, I normally, that's what I do in my sellers interviews. To go into the checklist.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, so basically you're doing a checklist. Okay, so we copied that, and sorry about moving all this around real quick here, because I don't think it's going to change when I do this, but
it's all right. You're working it fine. You're driving.
All right, so we go back to ChatGPT. New chat. Then we're going to paste that. See how I pasted it?
Absolutely.
And then we're going to write up here, say, write a summary of the following.
God, where was this years ago? Like when we were spending hours doing this and spelling things wrong, and you just made my day. Like that's worth it to me.
So that saves, at least for me, 30 minutes to an hour to go through that. Now I will go through it. I always tell people all the time, go through it and fine tune it, but it gives you a good baseline of what you want to do. And then what you can also do is, go back and say, okay, I'm missing X, Y, and Z, and I can go ahead and add something to this. and then redo it again over and over again until it's correct. And see, it says regenerate response. So let's take this here and see what Bard comes up with it. Bard again is the one that is the one that does that's for Google.
Okay, so when we talk about ChatGPT and Bard and Jasper, it's kind of like they're all their own
Correct.
AI. Like I said, you might
platform, AI platform.
They're all an AI platform, but that's their name. So ChatGPT is popular. I've heard of Jasper. What are this one I've never heard of before? You're gonna have to tell me about it.
Mm-hmm. So this is Google. This is Google, their own AI. And they have things like, outline my blog posts about summer mocktail recipes, and you can do blog posts on this and all that. But so I'm going to go ahead and say, write a summary of this. Let's say this ranch. That was faster.
Wow.
Okay. So the other thing that I always recommend, let's write a blog post, and I'm just going to do it here. Reset chat. So let's say if you're wanting to go ahead and write a buyer. Let's see. How would I say a buyer?
Checklist, welcome packet.
Yeah, checklist. What buyer? Yeah, checklist for buying property, buying a ranch. That's what it comes up with. Okay. Now,
well, take my money.
Yep. Okay. Now this by the way, right now is free. The thing that I always recommend doing is go to check plagiarism and go ahead and put that in here.
Oh, okay. So that was another question I was going to ask you, because obviously it's using information from the web that could be copyrighted. So this website is called Check Plagiarism.
Yep. And see what it comes up with and see if it's plagiarized or not. Now, the reason why this is important is obviously when you publish stuff, you got to make sure that you're not, plagiarizing other people's websites, because you can get in trouble that way. Or Google will not like the SEO function of this. So when you start do this type of stuff, make sure that you're going through it and customize it in some way or fashion with your own stuff. And then also always make sure that it's not plagiarized, because a lot of the stuff is. And that's why I use multiple, platforms like OpenAI or ChatGPT or Bard or other items, uses or other AI platforms.
So in this scenario, would you go to the highlighted portion and make it more your own?
Yeah, I what I typically will do is go in here and paste it to Word or whatever, and then I will go ahead and add a few things for myself, like call James Bigley to help you out with this or whatever else. But yes, I would customize it a little bit to make sure. But this is at 97%, so basically you're pretty good. Let's see if this comes up. You want to see something really cool?
Sure. I'm going to let you finish out. We've been on here for about an hour, and I know that, like I said, I might have to do a part 2 or part 5 with you. We might have to go a deeper dive into each one of these eventually down the road. But yeah, hit us with the good stuff.
All right. So this is the AI that builds videos or builds. There's the AI that builds videos. There's the one that does pictures.
Okay, I have heard of this. This is creepy.
This is on Discord, but this is a little more technical. So I'm imagining Apache female warrior. I do this with a lot of my history stuff. Now, while we're sitting here letting it generate, it takes a couple minutes. We'll let it generate, and it'll prompt me when we're done. But while we're doing this, what other questions do you have?
You know what? One of the things I was going to ask you, because this seemed to be like a popular thing back in the day, but now it might not be. But hashtags, like whatever has hashtags.
Hashtags are still important. I think it's safe to put those in, and it depends on what you're what you're looking at and stuff. But that's a whole different discussion, to be honest with you. And that's the generation that did this. Is
Wow, that is super cool.
That's all unique. It doesn't copy other artwork or anything like this. And the biggest thing here is that this is just the start of this. This is going to be to a point in the next 5-10 years that it's going to revolutionize digital art. It's going to revolutionize a lot of different things. There's a lot of industries. But going back to the captions or the hashtags, I still use them. I'll put a minimum of 5 on each video. And descriptions are very important too, because descriptions will tie into your SEO, search engine optimization, on Google and Bing and other platforms. So when you're doing your let's say ranch sale over in whatever county and you have an address, don't put the address in there. Put like this Texas ranch for sale or something that's very general, because it's going to be more successful related to search engine optimization. And then when you do the hashtags, a lot of hashtags you can do unique, or you could do like ranches for sale in Texas, or other hashtags that basically that are unique or that address that subject but are very, very broad, so to speak. Like when I do wildlife, I'll put white-tailed deer, hashtag white-tailed deer. That you can apply that to anything else.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, you're right. That definitely could be a whole nother topic altogether. James, thank you so much for your time and your little nuggets of knowledge. To our guests, I will definitely make sure that we share his presentation, as well as please subscribe. Mr. Bigley, if you don't already subscribe to him, please give him a follow and a shout out. And if you'd like to watch this recording again, also subscribe to me, Lindsey Hollin. Also, you can find this on our public facing EXP Texas Broker YouTube channel as well. So James, thank you so much. And we look forward to